friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another this and that video. And today I'm actually going to be separating out now the garden videos from the this and that, now that I got enough to talk about that I can separate it out. So, and besides, I got a lot of stuff to cover in today's video. And as you can see, I've got some Castile Soap I'm going to be talking about, but let's start by talking about the lavender leaves. So I just started harvesting some lavender leaves, and yes, lavender leaves are usable, edible, and they make a really great herb for flavoring to add to your different dishes. Some people use it as a replacement for rosemary. Now, while it has a somewhat rosemary type taste, it's not the same. It's got its own unique flavor, and no, it does not taste like the flowers. It doesn't have that strong perfumey flavor that the flowers have, but you can still get a little bit of that hint of lavender flower flavor in there without all that perfuminess. So this is something I would add to a savory type dish, though you can use it in sweet things too. Mostly I've cooked with it, but I have used it in teas. But I've also, because I believe that a lot of the similar benefits that are in the flowers you can also find in the leaves. When I have the flowers coming in, I have actually started drying some leaves with the flowers as well and mixing them together, and then using them in my infused oil for my skin cream. But I do also like to keep some separate. Mostly though, when it comes to the lavender leaves, I prefer using them fresh on things. Like maybe I'll cook up a little bit of white rice, I'll sprinkle on some fresh thyme and some fresh lavender leaves, and I love the flavor that it adds, especially mixed with the thyme. So I'm gonna go ahead and dehydrate these up today. And plus, doing it right now should help me get more flowers later in the year. Now, most of your herbs are best when you're harvesting the leaves from them to start harvesting them before they start flowering, for a couple of reasons. You're going to get more benefits out of the leaves if you harvest them before it starts to flower, but also you're going to get more and bigger leaves when you do that before the flowering, because once it starts flowering, all of the energy goes into making those flowers and those seeds within those flowers. But by harvesting them now, you're getting bigger leaves and helping to encourage more growth and getting a bushier plant in general. So it's really good to start any of your herbs that start getting that fresh leaves. As soon as they get big enough to harvest, start cutting them back, and then that will encourage a lot of growth. Now, dandelions are the other way around. Dandelions are best you harvest the flowers first because they start coming in first, but you don't really get the big leaves until the flowers start slowing down in their growth and the weather starts to warm up. Then you get some really nice good sized leaves. So that's when I like to harvest the leaves. So it usually goes in this order with dandelions: flowers, then leaves, then your roots. But with most of your other herbs, you harvest the leaves first. And then the other thing I cut for the first time this year is some catnip. I've got a lot of catnip stored up from previous years, but some of it's pretty old, and I might just go ahead and toss it, throw it out to compost, and then replace it with some fresher stuff. I do use catnip a lot. I have an old video I did, but when I look back at it, I realized it's a this and that video. So I do want to do a new one, and it's old anyway, about catnip and its many benefits. I do use it in my pain relief medicine. I also use it in the dog's pain relief medicine. I have videos on both of these. And catnip works as a pain relief more in the fact that it's kind of a sedative. And so it helps take the edge off a lot of things, at least for humans and dogs. It's not a sedative for cats. It's a stimulant. So it works totally different for them. But anyway, it has many other benefits. You can rub it directly on your skin. The leaves, crush them, rub it on your skin, and it makes a good mosquito repellent. But I'll talk more about that in that video that I'll try to get done sometime this summer. And then a couple more herbs. Oh, obviously dandelions. I've been talking about them a lot. So one of the other things I just started harvesting for the very first time ever, because I only just started growing it from seed last year, and that is Hound. This is one of the herbs that I'm going to be adding to my new cough, cold, and flu remedy medicine that I haven't had to make in a couple years because I've got quite a bit of it. But anyway, the Hound is really good for coughs, colds, flus. It's supposed to be also good for helping to work up mucus. So if you got a lot of mucus that develops in your lungs or at the back of your throat or in your sinuses, this is supposed to be good for that. So that's going to be going in there. So I just got started on harvesting that. And the cool thing about that was I started it from seed last year. I planted it right in front of the greenhouse, not inside the greenhouse, because it is a mint. It doesn't need to grow in the greenhouse. But I have this area right in front of the greenhouse, and I thought, well, this would be a good place to plant it. And it never actually fully died back last year. So I just left it alone. I didn't harvest anything off of it until now. And it stayed green all through the winter, where most of my mints will die clear back to the ground. I mean, where there's nothing, and then start growing again. This one stayed green all through the winter. It just didn't keep growing, but it stayed green. Now it's really taking off. So fresh growth, that's what I got here, was the fresh growth. Okay, one of the main things I wanted to talk about was the Castile soap. Yes, I do make pretty much all my own soaps, but I'm always liking to try new things for the sake of helping other people to find things, people who either can't make their own soap, don't want to make their own soap, and would rather just purchase some pre-made soaps. I'm always on the hunt for things that are more natural and that will suit different people and their different needs. Now, a lot of people really like Dr. Bronner's. I've used it for years, and yes, I understand some things about that. I've actually been lectured and told I wasn't a good Christian for promoting Dr. Bronner's. I don't really promote them, but they are a great soap. They're organic and all natural. But for people who are trying to stay away from certain companies because of what they stand for or their religious beliefs, I get that. You know, we all have our own little areas of focus. And I don't think that if you buy Dr. Bronner's that you're serving the devil. You'd have to boycott everything out there unless you know the person personally and their religious beliefs. If that's the only thing you're basing what product and who you're buying it from, then, you know, you're going to be really limited. And I would rather buy Dr. Bronner's soap that's made here in the U.S. and all natural and organic than buying a soap that is made by slave labor overseas. And who knows what's in it. But I've recently found this other Castile soap that actually I'm finding I like better. I'm going to be doing a separate video about just this and maybe a few other soaps down the road, but I wanted to talk about this right now. I got this set from Costco. Now you can buy directly from the company and you get a better selection. There's more different scents, like they have sandalwood. Oh, that's the one I would really like to get. But you get a far better price if you order it from Costco.com. And so you get the 3 32-ounce bottles, and you do have a selection of at least what sets of 3 you want. Like you can get a set of completely unscented, which would be good, especially if you're sensitive to certain scents or you're going to use it on babies. That would be the option I would go with. But I'm really happy with these. I've tried all 3 of them. Again, I'm still kind of new to it. I haven't yet used it as like a cleaner for counters. I'm going to try to make a spray cleaner out of this and see what I think. And some people informed me of this about the Mrs. Meyer's. I was kind of looking into it because I knew a lot of people liked it. I hadn't looked deeply at the ingredients, but I knew a lot of people liked it, and it was considered to be a natural soap. Well, it's not so natural anymore. Apparently it's been bought out by another company, and now they're using a lot of, and I did yesterday take some time to look into it, and it's like, wow, they use a lot of junk in there, and it's very, very highly perfumed, which is all synthetic. But these are supposed to be all naturally scented. Here's the great thing about these kind of soaps. You only need a teeny tiny bit. For example, if you get yourself a good foaming dispenser like I have here, I bought a set of 2. And yes, I got these ones from Amazon. I'll go ahead and link to them down below. I like it because of the mason jar. Even though I'm sure you could get this separately and then just put it on any mason jar because it does seem to be the same size. I just went ahead and bought this whole set because I liked this color, and I was having a hard time finding this by itself. It's more of a bronze, a really deep bronze. But anyway, you get yourself a foaming dispenser, and then you can really water this down, where I would say start off with about 3 parts water to 1 part soap and see what you think about that. And if it feels like it's still really, really rich, then you'll want to water it down to about 4 to 1. So 4 parts to 1 part soap. And you can even go 5 parts to 1. I found it was a little too thin when I went that high, but you can really stretch it out, and you have to if you're using a foaming dispenser. A foaming dispenser isn't meant to be used with any kind of full strength soap. It always has to be watered down, but it makes it much easier to use, and you're going to use far less of the soap by doing that. Now, one of the other things I did was I used the honey almond to wash my hair with. Yes, I washed my hair with this. In fact, I used it as an all-over wash, washed my face, my hair, and love it. It's great. I mean, normally I use my own homemade shampoo, but this is something you could use, again, if you're not making your own soap. You can follow my homemade shampoo recipe by making the herbal tea and then just adding the soap, one of these Castile soaps, to that tea mixture, and now you've got a great homemade shampoo. It's going to be very watery, but if you check out my natural hair care video, I'll go ahead and link to the most recent one down below. I have my special method I use, because when you're using natural soaps like this, when it comes to liquid soaps, you're not going to get suds. So I also use this as a dish soap, tried it out. It cleans great, but you're not going to get the suds that you get with even the so-called natural, even 7th generation, one of the better dish soaps for being natural. It still has added phosphates. That's the only way you're going to get those suds when it comes to using a liquid soap in water like that. But it still cleans great without the suds. And you know, a lot of us are accustomed to that. Once you get yourself used to it though, not having those suds, and realize the soap cleans just fine without all those phosphates in there, then you can use this as a replacement. It also can be used in your laundry. So I've tried doing a couple loads with this so far. It seems to work great. So it's a hair wash, a body wash, hand soap, dish soap, laundry soap, and even a surface cleaner. If you want to try it, I recommend checking Costco first. It's a lot more expensive to get directly from their store, but again, you get more scents. But if you choose to go that route, because maybe you want to try the sandalwood or the charcoal or some of the other ones that they have, wait until I come out with that other video, because I found that on their website that they do affiliates, and a lot of times, and I'm waiting to hear back from them, a lot of times what they'll do is, if they're a company that's willing to work with a channel like ours and they set up an affiliate link, not only does that help us earn a little bit, but that's not my point for saying to wait, but a lot of times they also offer the customer a discount, a 10 to 15% discount on their purchases when they go through that link. So that way it helps out the channel or the blogger, as well as giving the customer who's going through that link a discount. The same thing applies to Mother Earth Products, one of the other places I'm an affiliate with, and the lady that sells the silicone bags I keep talking about. She gives, if you go through the link that I provide for that, not only do I make a little bit of commission off of it, but you also get a discount on the bags. I'm going to talk more about these in just a minute. But anyway, check out that soap at Costco.com. I'll try to put a link to it. I'm not positive how Costco online works, if it's the things there that are available to me are available to everyone, but you can at least try there. And if you'd like to wait until I come out with that other video more specifically about the soap, just be watching for that. I'll try to get it out as soon as I can. I wanted to mention the black seeds and the bread. So I got to make some more bread today, and I've been really happy at adding the black seed to the bread. So I'm usually adding other seeds with it. So maybe some poppy seeds and flax seeds, chia seeds, and hemp seeds. I usually try not to go too crazy with too much seed in there, because it can make it a little too heavy, but liking the black seeds in the bread quite a bit, which has just been surprising that, eating the raw seeds like this, I do it for the health benefits, but finding ways to add it to different things to get it in, they're actually quite tasty. And now I understand more why people add these to breads and so many other things. If you're curious about my basic bread recipe, I did one a couple of years ago. That's the basic recipe I use for making hot dog buns, hamburger buns, pizza crust, and everything. It's my own recipe. I'll go ahead and share that in the description box down below, and you can consider adding some black seed in there. So, and it's about, I'd say about up to a 1/4 cup of the black seed, but however much you feel like. But when you're working with something that's got such a strong flavor, start small and then work your way up. And then, of course, the bags, coming back to these. So I did go ahead and get myself, I know I mentioned these in my video from last week, and thank you for those who are going through that link. I really appreciate that because that does help us quite a bit. And so I decided I wanted to try the green and the red, and I left them wrapped up because I wanted to show you how she wraps these. You know, she's really trying to be conscientious of being as sustainable as possible and using natural things, but also having it packaged nicely for the people. And anyway, the other reason I wanted to bring these up is, you know, besides the fact that you can get a discount and that helps us out going through the links, somebody seemed a little curious as to, well, why would you spend the money on silicone bags when plastic Ziploc bags are cheaper? Well, the idea of silicone bags is it's twofold. One is that people are trying to get away from their dependency on plastics. Now, silicone may not be perfect. It is better, especially when you're talking about freezing, than plastic. It's going to be healthier for you. But for a lot of people, the number one reason is that these are reusable. Ziploc bags, sometimes you can only freeze in them one time and they get holes in them, and then you got to toss them out. Sometimes you can wash them and reuse them, maybe once, twice, or 3 times, but especially if you're freezing with them, they usually only make it one time. That's what I found in most cases. But the silicone, this is something you can use over and over and over again, and it's nice and thick, heavy duty, and I am really liking the fact, I'll go ahead and open this up. I've been kind of waiting to do this, but since these are the ones I have out here, I have the blue ones and I have the clear ones too. I call them gray because the strip on them is gray, but they're actually considered clear. But anyway, these ones, instead of being an actual Ziploc, they have this little plastic bar that, yes, this is plastic, but it's a good hard plastic. It's going to last for a long time. If you're careful, don't crush it. And then you just slide it back in place. And I remember at first thinking I wasn't sure what to think about that, but I'm actually really liking this idea, because zippers, even on your silicone bags, I was reading somebody that had on Amazon, I was reading some reviews, and this one lady was really happy with her silicone bags that she had bought until the zipper part just started giving out and not working anymore. Where these just have the indentation on the outside, this little bar slips over it like that, and then closes it up nicely. And so far I haven't frozen a lot. I've only frozen a couple things just because I haven't had a lot of stuff to freeze yet. But I do have a lot of things that will come in from my garden that I want to freeze, and so, or that I might go pick wild, like blackberries. I do like to freeze my blackberries in about the size that I normally use in a pie. So that's what I got the red ones for, and then the green ones would be more for things like freezing zucchini. I'll probably still keep freezing my snow peas in the little half-pint jars. I really like that. And same thing with my eggs. I'm really liking freezing the eggs in these little quarter-pint jars. They're just perfect. But I think these would be good for freezing up batches of zucchini, because you can chunk up your zucchini and freeze it, or you can shred it and freeze it. That's one of my favorite ways to preserve zucchini. Actually, my very favorite way, though, is to dehydrate it. But I do like having some frozen on hand, where I'll throw it in with some kind of beef veggie bake. So I'll put that in there, and carrots and whatever. And I prefer to have it frozen when I'm doing that. And then one more thing I wanted to mention before I close out is I did get my silver award from YouTube for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone, whether you've been with us from the very beginning, back when we started in 2016, or you're a new subscriber. Thank you so much for helping us along this road and keeping us going here on YouTube, and just making it an overall enjoyable experience for us as we try our best to share the things that we have learned along the way. Even since starting this channel, I've learned so much more things and come up with new ways to do things, thanks to a lot of the people that follow me and give me some tips and hints and ideas, and I try them and I'm like, hey, I like that better. And so thanks for that. It's just been a great way for us all to help each other out, to learn how to be more self-sufficient by doing more things for ourselves, and to be more frugal and to be more natural. So again, thank you everyone. And I hope you enjoyed my this and that, which, if you're new, by the way, is basically just a weekly vlog that I do to just share what's going on around here. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.